All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You were listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. So we're going to get started with our morning analysis. There's our bias chart. Let's go over to the euro dollar. So, the euro dollar is extremely quiet right now, and you notice the trading range is only 30 pips at the moment, 33 pips. Um, Obviously, you got to expect that to change. Oh, you know what? Dang it. Oh man, my light wave died. It's not updating. All right, I'll have to fix that a little later, but we're not going to do that right now. But you can see we're really, really quiet here, and you can see the euro dollar is just sitting and consolidating right here, very, very tight range. It is a flag pattern currently on the 4-hour chart. You can see it looks like this, right? But obviously, this is the non-farm payroll. So non-farm payroll, is a game changer. It can obviously change, um, you know, uh, the price action will dominate, following the news, no matter what it is. So it really doesn't matter. At this point, though, what we should do is we should notice where support is. Okay. Now it's a little elongated on the hourly. That's why if you go over to the 4-hour, it's still valid. As far as the length of the flag versus the distance of the pole. But actually, on the hourly chart, it's not. All right. And, oops, what happened there? I need to delete that. I'm not sure what that was. But regardless, what is going to be very, very key support today for the euro dollar is going to be right here. Okay. 111.50, that's going to be really key, because if we start breaking through 111.50, you're going to see probably a pullback towards the 111 area, maybe even sub 111, just to probe some stops. But 111.50 is going to be support resistance for the euro dollar. Now, even if we hit new highs, so let's imagine this, okay? Let's imagine we hit new highs in the euro. The 618 retracement comes in at 112.60. So be careful if you're out there. Let's just say we get a weak number. Let's just say, argument's sake, we get a weak number. The euro dollar starts to rally. Okay, great. The euro dollar starts to rally. Where are we going to find some resistance? And it could be right above the highs. So you have to be careful if you're chasing the market into the highs, into yesterday's highs over here at 112.30, that you note that there's a key resistance up here about 112.55 where you have to be careful. Just watch price up there if we get up there, okay? So I believe that is going to be a key resistance level. It is a 618 retracement of the August highs to December lows, okay? And, going into next week, if the euro continues to rally, this blue line's this blue trend line, that'll come into play also, which is, just around the 113.50 level. But right now, the euro is holding up really well. I mean, we got a little bit of a pullback, but this is just all it is a consolidation ahead of the FOMC. That's all it is, okay? And I really do think that any dips down towards 111 are going to be bought today. If we get a strong number, the euro dollar will probably get bought down towards 111, even if we break 111.50. All right, let's go into, and we've gone from a range environment to bullish in the euro dollar the last couple of days. All right, let's go over the cable. So the cable, not so bullish. It's still a range environment. We have recovered to the 50% retracement. You can see the Bank of England was pretty dovish yesterday, and I think what you're seeing here, because we didn't have any data come in from the UK today, I think this is just kind of like a hangover from the Bank of England yesterday. And I'll tell you what, if you guys want to play the dollar to the long side, like let's say that we have a strong jobs report today, I think the best way to play it is shorting the cable, okay? Because, if I always do the old, if you put a gun to my head and you said, okay, Blake, you had to buy the dollar, where are you going to buy it against? I'd probably say I'd short the cable, just because of the way it's reacting versus like the euro. You know, the euro is still holding up near its highs. The cable, on the other hand, looks pretty weak. So, you know, if we get a if we get a strong dollar, you know, coming out of today's data, we'll probably, you know, retest this 144, whatever these highs were, 144.40. High here was 144.45. So 144.45 is going to be support on the way down. And what is key resistance right now is the, you know, the inverted head and shoulder pattern target, or the 50% retracement that comes in right there. Okay, we can get rid of this now. Which is yesterday's highs, which will be 146.67. And the way I'm playing the cable right now to the short side is I'm buying the euro pound, as most of you guys know. All right, so I'm long the euro pound, and I own it at 76.20 is my cost average right now. I'm expecting to move up towards 80 pence, you know, in the coming weeks. So, but right now 46.65. Okay, that'd be key resistance on the way back up, and we're in a range. Let's go over to the Swissy. Now the Swissy is extremely weak right now. The Swiss franc is strong. You know, the Swissy, the unit, very weak. I'm actually looking forward to buying the dollar Swiss again, and I think we're going to get here. I'll take you out to a weekly chart. I really think we're going to get an opportunity to buy the dollar Swiss again, back at 98 cents, maybe even a little bit lower, like 90, maybe 97 cents. I am going to tell you right now, if we make it down there, I am a buyer. Okay, keep in mind the 20-year trend line had been broken. That's this blue one. Okay, or 20-year, 15, 16-year, whatever, 15-year. Okay, that's the blue line. It has been broken. I will buy any retest. I'm happy to buy it. If the dollar continues to weaken and the euro dollar goes back to 115 and the Swissy drops to 97 cents, bring it. Bring it. Okay? I'm a buyer down there. But that's pretty far away from where we're currently at. That's going to have nothing to do with what we're dealing with today. Today, the 786 retracement, okay, of the entire consolidation here, okay, and spike low right there. Do you see the spike low right there? Okay, that comes in at 98.80. That should be support today. I don't know if it's going to be great support, but 0.9880 should be support. You guys know I'm not a fan of shorting the dollar Swiss. So it can drop all at once, and I'm not going to be on the short side. I'll be on the long side, wherever I assume is a good place, but I'm not going to be on the short side of this one. All right. Now, any rally that we see back in the dollar Swiss will probably have a tough time. Like, let's say it's a decent jobs number. We're going to have a tough time right here. Okay. Okay, that low comes in at 99.87. So basically 99.90. High right there is 99.90. 99.90 is going to be a good place for shorts. If that's your cup of tea, like I said, for me it's not. All right. For me it's not. I'd rather be on the long side, not necessarily today though. I'm obviously really not interested in being long the dollar Swiss till we get down towards 97 cents. So I think we have some good old-fashioned dipping to do here. All right. All right. So there's the dollar Swiss. Let's go over to the yen. Now, like I said, I established a very small short position in the dollar yen already. Okay. I believe the dollar yen is about ready to take anybody who is short yen to the cleaners. All right, there, I said it. So if you're short yen, long yen pairs, I think you're about ready to get taken to the cleaners. If this is a weak number, the unexpected, the unfathomable, fathomable, Friday morning after a golf tournament, unfathomable. It's the unfathomable. I can't even say it. Anyway, I just don't think anybody's expecting this. Okay, so anyway, if we break through the lows here at 1650, because look at the price action from yesterday. You got to be kidding me, right? I mean, the dollar yen just broke down. Stock market wasn't breaking down. The dollar yen was breaking down. It was amazing. It was amazing. Obviously I looked at quotes a few different times, even though I only had the euro, pound, Aussie, New Zealand, pound, New Zealand. That was it. I didn't. I still looked at quotes yesterday, and I saw the dollar yen, and I'm like, get out of here. We're below 117. How in the hell did that happen? You know? And I looked at the stock market. I'm like, God, stock market's got to be down like 200 points right now. And no, Dow was up 50, S&P was down like a point or something. I was like, no way. This dollar yen's weak. I mean, it's weak. Weak, sister. I mean, weak. Anyway, yeah, if we break through 1650, I mean, we'll see 116 rather quickly. So, obviously, 116 support, key support, 116.50. Here. Let's do it like that. Okay. 116, 116.50. I have to put them both down because I think they're so critical. Okay. Resistance for the dollar yen. I hate to write it down, but I have to. We'll spike above here if it's a good number. I think. Be interesting. 117, let's just call it 117.10. It's not great resistance, it's just resistance. We're in a range in the dollar yen. We're going to threaten to turn bearish, especially if it's a weak NFP today. FYI. Okay. Canadian. All right. So yesterday, obviously, I wish I had my my price yesterday because I bought it at 136.42. I mean, I had the best price you could possibly get. I mean, you could have squeezed out a couple more pips better than me, but I took 50 pips in profit yesterday before the golf tournament, so I got out like right here yesterday morning. Okay. Wait, I got out like right here yesterday morning, like at 136.90 something. It was great. It's like 57 pips. I was done heading over to the golf tournament. Here's the dollar Canadian. We have the potential. Okay, this is a potential. Now it is potential. That's it. Just nothing more than that. You have a little inverted head and shoulder pattern. Possible. Okay, it is possible. Now, in order for that to happen, you're going to have to see a weak Canadian jobs report and a strong dollar jobs report. So there's two things that have to work in order for that to happen. Personally, I really want to be a buyer of the dollar Canadian, but I want to be a buyer of the dollar Canadian as we approach this trendline support, the bottom of this little yellow box that you see here. Okay, that's where I want to be long the dollar Canadian. I'm not saying that we're going down there. I'm not saying that we're going down there, but obviously today there's potential, okay, of that. So resistance today. My do I really have to write down 137.60? I mean, we're only 20 pips away from it. It's very close. Support. I'm just going to say 137. It's actually 137.10, but I'm going to say 137. Okay. Just in case we, push new lows briefly, but that's support. All right. Okay. Let's take a look at the Kiwi dollar. So the butterfly yesterday stopped the Kiwi in its tracks. I think some of you guys got to take advantage of that, which was great. I mean, we slipped all the way back to, was that 68.40? No, I'm sorry, 68.80? 66.80, excuse me. Okay. So now that that's all done, let's remove that. Let's remove this. Let's remove that. Remove that. Remove that. Remove that. Keep that. We're going to remove that. That's resistance. This is support. And keep in mind, as far as the Kiwi goes, we still have, I mean, if this is like the inverted head and shoulder pattern that we, the potential, it still has the potential to move up to 67, 67, like 65, okay? Still has the potential to do that. So 66.80 is support. That's probably a key level support. I think if we end up breaking that, it's gonna be pretty bearish for the Kiwi. There's 67.50, but I'm gonna actually write down the 67.65 level. Okay. Okay. So we're in a range. Let's go over to the Aussie. All right, so here's the Aussie dollar, and last night retail sales came in worse than expected, so the Aussie slipped. And the Aussie dollar is obviously it's under a little bit of pressure. You gotta watch the Aussie carefully today. It doesn't look super clear as far as the charts go. I'm going to say that this 71.40 is obviously really key support. Resistance, we're going to find sellers now. Any move up towards this, those highs obviously, which is 72.40. And I think we just got to go with the 71.40 to 72.40. But also keep in mind that the Aussie dollar is holding up relatively well, even after the weak retail sales, and they came in a lot worse than expected. Saw it this morning. I was like, ooh. So 0.7140 is support, and resistance will be 0.7240. Okay, and we're in a range. All right. Now, let's go over to the dollar index. Okay. So here's the dollar index, and the dollar index is below the 200-day moving average. Okay. It is below the 200-day moving average. It is sitting on really trendline support, and we have to note today that these lows from yesterday are very critical. Okay. That comes in at 96.25. 96.25. It's really key support. If we break through that, it's going to get downright ugly for the dollar. I have no doubt in my mind. Because what will happen is we're going to end up doing this. We'll break through that support. We're going to be in this big range for a while. Okay, so that means put it in a box. The dollar will be like that. But if we break through here, we're probably going to go test the lower end of this range. Now, this is such a big deal. If you guys don't know why it's such a big deal and why I think that this is going to hold, you have to go all the way back. You have to go all the way back to 2000, right here, 2005, 2004. I mean, that's the reason why we held that before. So that, and the euro dollar at that time was at 117. So just remember, if we break down towards here, towards this 92.70 level, from 96 where we're at in the dollar index, that could be the equivalent of the euro dollar back at 117, 118. All right. Okay. Anyway, let's go back to an hourly because we got to figure out where resistance is. So resistance. That low is 96.88. So 96.90 is resistance. Okay, so when I come back from break, we are going to we're going to go over the peso, the Norwegian krona, the Swedish krona. So don't go anywhere. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks, everybody. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. We are going to get started again with the peso. Let's take a look at what the peso is doing currently. And this pair found some really key support at the 18 level. And what was interesting yesterday, that it found like support right at 18. It bounced really aggressively. I didn't, obviously I didn't trade it yesterday, but we not only did we find, okay, so remember, actually, can you do me a favor? For those of you that are that have the numbers from yesterday, what did we write down as support and resistance for the peso? Because I think we wrote down 18, right? We wrote down 18, if you have the numbers in front of you, because I don't keep the numbers. I know some of you do. Okay, so I think we had 18 support and resistance was at 1830. Lyle says 18 and 1832. Man, that's pretty good because the high yesterday was 1833.50. Not bad, right? That's obviously really important today as well because, and now you have to think about the peso don't trade it like other currencies. Dollar yen starting to show some weakness here. Don't trade the peso like other currencies. This one has to be traded with risk on, risk off. Okay, so if the market, the stock market is rallying, it goes down. Okay, if the stock market is selling off, we're going to go up, okay, through resistance. So if we have some risk aversion today, we're going to challenge this 1832 again, and then obviously if the stock market likes the jobs reports today, we should slip back towards 18. So those levels are still very much in play, and this is still a very bullish trend. Think about that. Key support, resistance, 18.32. Okay, and it's still very bullish. Now, if you think about that, the euro peso, extremely bullish charts here, Think about if the market goes a little risk off, this thing is going to go parabolic, right? And I don't trade the euro peso, but and I don't have the ability to, but I know some of you do. Okay, let's go look at the Nordic currencies. Oops, here's the US dollar, Norwegian krona. Wow, we held that support yesterday like very well, didn't we? Huh. Yesterday, we must have wrote down 845. Bam, hit 845, started bouncing. So now any move back up towards 860, which is going to be the underside of this trend line, is going to find resistance. So 845, 860, okay? $8.45, 860. I think we've slipped into more of a range here with the US dollar, Norwegian krona. Let's take a look at the Swedish krona. Now this is a currency pair I'm not trading right now. Okay, I'm not trading right now, but notice the 618. If the euro dollar rallies today, this US dollar Swedish krona is probably going to be a decent short. Now, if you think about this, this is a big 618 retracement. It held in the past, right? It held overnight. So that suggests to me that this is actually a very, very critical level for the US dollar Swedish krona. Rally should be capped at 846. We break through 835, 832. It's going to get ugly here. Okay. So 840. I'm going to write down 846 actually. Still a range, but this is starting to be attractive, especially if the euro dollar is going to turn higher. So 846. We're in a range. And support 8.32. Okay, that's critical. All right, guys, your bias chart is finished for today, okay, for non-farm payroll. So there you go. Now I'm going to go ahead and take some questions. First question comes in from